Jim Steele. We're hearing from the Fed for the last time in 2012. And what I want to know is the QE3, 4 programs as good for silver as they are for gold?
Maybe not quite as good for silver, but they're still bullish silver as both a precious metal and as a hard asset. And in fact, we see that silver prices have been fairly responsive to monetary policy throughout this year and indications of policy. We rallied at the beginning of the year on expectations of QE3. Then, as Bernanke and the Fed backed away from that in various FOMC minutes, the market fell, and it's recovered more recently since September on the announcement of QE3.
Well, we know a stronger dollar hurts gold. How does a stronger or weaker dollar affect silver? To what extent?
Well, we still have an inverse relationship between silver and the dollar in much the same way that we have between gold and the dollar, and that's simply based on the fact that silver is also a hard asset and therefore is inversely related to paper currencies and the principal reserve currency, which is the dollar. And of course, higher or lower dollar affects the cost of silver jewelry and the industrial demand for silver outside of the dollar bloc, and it has an impact on mining costs as well.
But what about to an extent? I mean, how much does it affect silver?
Well, I would say it's not the primary driver of silver prices in the way that I would argue that over the long term it is the primary driver of the gold price, because silver is not as dependent upon investment flows, which gold is, and that's where the dollar relationship comes in more, because silver, more than 50% of silver demand is in industry. It is less dollar sensitive in that sense, but nonetheless, it's important, but it's not the driving factor.
Finally, what's your outlook for supply in 2013?
Well, we're encouraged that we're going to see more supply. You know, the majority of silver, something like 70% to three-quarters, is mined as a byproduct of base metals and gold, and we're seeing increased production on those fronts, particularly in Latin America, and many of these new mines have a higher silver byproduct. So in addition to primary silver mine production and the cost of silver, the price of silver is well above the cost of production. We're both encouraged from the byproduct and from the primary silver mine point of view.